Welcome back. Oh, I almost hit my cat in the face. Welcome back into another episode of Prime Sports World. I'm, of course, your host, David On Point Huffman. Right there, my co-host, Mr. TJ Hopkins. And on today's episode of the Prime, we're going to be breaking down Week 5 of the National Football League. So please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. And happy Monday, TJ. How art thou?
It's Monday.
So you're doing great? You're doing great, right? Also, welcome into the show from DailyBlitz.blog, our good friend and brother, Christian Simpson. Welcome into the show, my friend.
What's going on?
Yeah, so it's good to see you both of you on the show. We're going to talk about Week 5 of the National Football League. And we got Monday Night Football here coming up in just about an hour, so you don't want to miss that content. Let's jump right into it without wasting any time talking about Thursday Night Football, where me and TJ's Chicago Bears doubled up on the Washington Commanders 40-20, as Justin Fields had one of his most efficient games as a pro, 15-29 for 282 yards and 4 passing touchdowns. Khalil Herbert had 10 carries for 76 yards before he eventually got hurt and could not continue in the game. Shout out to Kari Blasingham? Who came in and was basically the only running back the Bears had available in this game. Huge game out of DJ Moore. This is why you trade for him. 8 catches for 230 yards and 3 touchdowns. Cole Clement also had 1 as well. A very rocky game here for Sam Howell. 37-51, 388 yards, 2 touchdowns, and a pick. He was also the team's leading rusher. Logan Thomas, 9 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown. Curtis Samuel also had a touchdown in this game as well. Gentlemen.
As I clean my glasses real quick, this game just makes that Denver loss that much more frustrating, because it's like you saw what happened. Like, they were up big in the Denver game. They obviously couldn't hold on. They got up big in this game and did hold on. Washington pretty much had to abandon the run game fairly early.
Yeah.
Which is why Sam Howell was your leading rusher. Khalil Herbert was on his way to a big game too. Like, he was averaging 9.
He was
averaging 9 o'clock.
He would have gone over the century mark. He was actually averaging 7.6 yards a carry in this game. But yeah, he was going to go over the century mark for sure. I mean, 10 carries and 76 yards. That's pretty good production.
Glasses aren't as clean as I want them to be, but they'll manage. And I just, the one thing that irritates me is, if I can find it real quick, and Christian can attest to this because I talked to him about it. It's so like, okay, we've seen these last 2 games for the Bears, right? Like Denver and Washington. And before the Denver game, they were power ranked dead last in the league. 32 out of 30, 32nd out of 32 teams. Justin Fields has a good game, and you know what they say? Well, they did give up 70 to the Dolphins. What'd you expect? No, I expect the worst team to be the worst team.
Yep.
Right? And then he has a good game against Washington, and it's just the Commanders. What'd you expect? I expect the worst team to be the worst team. So are we the worst or not? You can't you seriously like that's the killer. So it's like we won in dominating fashion, and all of a sudden it's a bad defense, or it's just the Commanders. I'm sorry. Last time I checked, that's one of the best front fours in all of football in Washington.
Yeah, only gave up 3 sacks for 9 yards in this game. On the other side, the Bears came into this game with only 2 sacks so far in the season, had 5 in this game alone.
Yeah, I mean, they were just active on both sides of the ball, and the play calling was great. Justin just looks comfortable, and, I'm going to tell you, like I told someone else, the Bears didn't win this game because of Matt Eberflus. They won in spite of him.
Yeah, the whole, like, when you get up big and use, like, the soft coverage stuff, that has to stop.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, it definitely does, because
that has to stop. And it's not just the Eberflus thing. It's not like that's like a coaching thing across the league. It's like, all right, we're up big, nothing cheap, nothing deep. Let's just give them everything underneath and like let them gash us for 5 to 8 yards every pass and so on and so forth. Like that's a thing across the league that needs to just go away. But especially when your team is struggling, like it is here, like stop that.
Well, I think the idea is you have to burn additional clock in order to go the distance instead of giving up one play. And usually, if you're up so much, there aren't enough possessions in the game, which is why most of the teams. Because if you give a big play, that's one. I mean, you just have to avoid
Like that
big
was.
play.
I mean, like
But
that was the case this time. That was the case this time. But Sam Howell basically threw for 400 yards against your defense, and
I mean, but it took him 51 attempts to do that. I mean, if you throw it 51 times, you should have damn near 400 yards passing.
Like no, if it wasn't, but like if they don't miss that field goal and DJ Moore doesn't take that last play to the house, then don't sit and act like things wouldn't have got a little dicey.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So,
things could have sure gotten interesting. Moving on from this game, let's talk about going over to London. We got the Jacksonville Jaguars beating the Buffalo Bills 25-20, as it took entirely too long for Buffalo to get their offense rolling in this game, going 7 points in the first half, and then tried to claw back at the end and could not. They could not get the onside kick. Trevor Lawrence, 25 of 37, 315 yards and a touchdown. Travis Etienne, probably his best game as a pro, 136 yards and 2 touchdowns. And Calvin Liddy went over the century mark with 122 yards. Zay Jones had a receiving touchdown in this game. Josh Allen, 27 of 40, 359 yards, 2 touchdowns and a pick. He also led the team in rushing with 14 yards. Stephon Diggs, 121 and a touchdown. Gabe Davis also had 100 yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to Jacksonville because they always just seem to present such a tough challenge to the Buffalo Bills. We saw it a couple years ago when it was that barn burner, like you said the other day, David. I think it was 9-6. They kept Buffalo out the end zone then, and they were just all over Josh Allen. Fast forward to yesterday, the Bills couldn't get that running game going, and Jacksonville said, "Look, we know Buffalo's been physical, so let's beat them at their own game. Let's be physical as well." And they limited the running game of the Buffalo Bills. James Cook only had -4 yards rushing. The Bills regressed to the old Bills yesterday where Josh was your leading rusher and they felt like he was doing too much. But
well, I mean, he only ran the ball 4 times in this game. So it's like they literally just did not try to run the football in this game.
Because they couldn't. The lanes were clogged up. So you just got to give Jacksonville's defense all the credit. I mean, Jacksonville's found their mojo these last 2 weeks.
All they had to do is go take a trip overseas, right?
Yeah, I said it in our group chat. I'm like, yo, out of all the teams that are contenders, Buffalo has to be the most confusing. Like, you manhandle the Dolphins, and then you go across the pond and you struggle against Jacksonville. And I think, what was it, it was Michael Irvin on the NFL Network panel. He said that, like maybe they got hit with some jet lag, and it looked like it too. Like they had I think he said they had a late flight over there. Well, you got to keep in mind, Jacksonville never left.
Yeah, they did.
No, they didn't. They were there a week.
I'm pretty sure they flew back.
They stayed.
They stayed. Why would they fly back? They're already there. Why would they fly back? They're already there. The last 2 games from Jacksonville.
Oh, you're right. I thought I read somewhere that they flew back and forth, but never mind.
So Jacksonville had that advantage. Like they already had that. Like they adjusted to the time frame and all that other good stuff. And while Buffalo had to get used to that. The offense took a little too long to click, but Buffalo couldn't get out of their own way. Like every time they had a sustainable drive going, some kind of penalty. Every time it looked like they got off the field on 3rd down, Ed Oliver got hit with a hands to the face or some other kind of penalty on defense. It was Buffalo did more to beat themselves than I think Jacksonville did, and Jacksonville just took advantage of the opportunities.
Absolutely.
Like if you're gonna keep giving me extra cracks at it, don't be surprised when I do cash in.
Yep. And I still think we've talked about this a lot on this show and other shows there's got to be something done with the onside kick.
I didn't
something
know.
like there's got to be something else done with the onside kick because the teams never recover them anymore. There's no drama in them. There's got to be another rule, something else that can be done.
I didn't know that the receiving team could bat the ball out of bounds, and it'd be like, oh, it's still your ball. Like I didn't know that. So like like it was a player for the Jags. Like nobody recovered it off the super high bounce, and the guy for the Jags just swatted it out of bounds. I didn't know you could do that. I thought that was.
You can't do it out of the back of the end zone for sure, but I think maybe the rules were different for anywhere other than the back of the end zone.
I guess so, but I didn't know you could do that. Like, that's just me though.
Moving on from this game, let's talk a little bit as we go back over across the pond. We got the upstart Houston Texans falling to the Atlanta Falcons, 21-19. CJ Stroud, was okay in this game, but not as good as he was in the first 2 weeks. 20 of 35, 249, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. Still hasn't thrown a pick so far in his NFL career. Dameon Pierce, 20 carries for 66 yards. Dalton Schultz, Bobby Schultz's cousin Dalton Schultz, had the lone receiving touchdown for the Houston Texans. On the Atlanta Falcons side of this, Desmond Ridder probably had his best game of the season, 28 of 37 for 329 yards and a touchdown. Bijan Robinson, pretty pedestrian in this game, 14 for 46. And Kyle Pitts finally getting up on the score sheet, 7 for 87. And Bijan Robinson caught the lone receiving touchdown for the Falcons as they go on to win this game by 2 points.
Yeah, I thought what you call it? I thought Houston had this game won. I was following it along the ticker at the bottom, and when I saw that that Atlanta had the ball at this part of the field, and then they won it, I'm like, oh, I guess they were closer to field goal range than I thought. But what is it, Christian? 177 pass attempts for CJ Stroud with no interception. I think that's the most.
He's taking tremendous care of the ball, but Houston let this opportunity slip from their hands yesterday because this was a game I felt they should have won. But give Atlanta credit. Atlanta knows they haven't looked all that great these last couple of weeks. This was a must-win for them.
Yeah, he's thrown 186 passes attempts and no interceptions. 186 passes. He's currently on pace to throw 24 touchdowns with 0 interceptions for the season.
Well, we already know that's not gonna. That's not.
Oh, you don't know. Maybe.
No, that's not gonna happen. Like I think the most I've seen without this interception was what Nick Foles did to what he went 27-2, but that was not as a full-time starter. That was he came in.
I think Case Keenum had when he was on Minnesota that season. I think he had a streak where he didn't throw a pick for like 12 games in a row.
Aaron Rodgers, he good for it. Like, what was that, 500 something?
And Jared Goff. Jared Goff also had a pretty impressive streak going on at one point.
But it was a balanced attack for Atlanta. 38 pass attempts total because Drake running through a pass. I don't like that. Don't do that.
He completed it. What else not to like?
Yes, but don't do it. And 36 rush attempts. 46 yards. I mean, Houston's proven like, hey, we ain't no easy way. It's not no easy win. Bijan Robinson had 46 yards. That's 3 yards a carry. So he was not gashing them like we've been seeing him do these past so far this season. Yeah, and somebody was like, I saw Christian saw this too. He was like, did somebody show Desmond Ridder a Kyle Pitts highlight tape? Like, yeah, get this dude the ball.
Yeah, most catches by far this season so far. 7 of 87, just really involved in the passing attack and Desmond Ridder has his best game, best completion center so far this year, best yardage output so far this year.
How coincidental that he has his best passing game when Kyle Pitts is involved.
How coincidental?
Like, how coincidental is that? Like, come on, bro. Like, get your tight end the ball. Tight end's your best friend.
Moving on from this game, let's talk about the beatdown in Ford Field. Detroit Lions win this game 42-24 as they just basically beat Carolina from sideline to sideline. Bryce Young.
David. That's what I mean.
Okay. Well, the the bag, the wrapping is just.
This is the
All right.
last one. It was not a lot left, so I'm sorry.
Moving on from that, talking about the Detroit Lions beaten down as the Battle of the Cats goes to the Lions as they beat Carolina 42-24. Bryce Young, very up and down in this game. One interception was a very nice play by Aiden Hutchinson. The second interception was just a bad read by Bryce Young. 25 of 41, 247 yards, 3 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Chuba Hubbard leads the team in rushing, 9 carries for 35 yards. Adam Thielen has had a pretty solid season as a member of the Carolina Panthers. 11 catches in this game for 107 yards and a touchdown. DJ Chark also got into the end zone in this game. The Lions continue to roll. Jared Goff, efficient as always, 20 of 28, 236 yards and 3 touchdowns. David Montgomery goes over the century mark for the 3rd time this year. A touchdown. Jakari Reynolds gets a touchdown. Jared Goff gets a rushing touchdown. And Sam Laporta had 2 touchdowns in the receiving side, along with Josh Reynolds, his former teammate in Los Angeles, as they still put up 42 points, even without the sun god, Amon-Ra St. Brown.
Yeah, I like what I'm seeing from the Lions because they've simplified things for Jared Goff. You know, they don't need Jared Goff to come in and win shootouts. They just kind of need him to control things. And you just read those numbers. You see how much in control he was. They're running the football. They're winning the trenches on both sides of the ball. Carolina, they're still a work in progress, but, you know, this is a strong win for the Lions. They took care of who they were supposed to take care of.
Yeah, this is a Lions team a few years ago probably may have lost. I mean, you're supposed to win. You're supposed to win these kind of games. You know, Carolina 0-4, not a very good football team. Weapons on the outside, really inconsistent for the Carolina Panthers outside of Adam Thielen. This is a game you should win easily, and they took care of business. You can't say that about past Lions teams, and I think they take on the mindset of their coach. Like, this is a hard-nosed Detroit Lions team, and their commitment. I mean, they balance on both sides of the ball. 28 pass attempts to 30 rush attempts. You kind of love to see that kind of productivity out of your team. If you're a Lions fan, there's a lot to be happy about right now.
Yeah, it definitely is.
And again, it's about time. Like the Lions have been the laughing stock for most of my life, but probably most of your life too. And now it's like, yeah, you can, like I say it all the time, like bad teams can only be bad for so long before you say enough is enough. And they finally got the right people in place to make the right decisions, and they're headed in a better direction probably than they ever been, right? Probably better than when Barry was there. Matt Stafford and Megatron was there, like with Ndamukong Suh. Like it's like about time. And when Aiden Hutchinson makes plays, it's almost like they're saying, "Hey, Jacksonville, thank you, thank you." Like seriously, like you took Trayvon Walker, we will gladly take Aiden Hutchinson. Thank you,
man. That pick he made in this game is just otherworldly. Like you don't see many football players that make that kind of interception. Like it's just really impressive.
Just want to give a quick shout out to Emmanuel Mosley, who worked his ass off to get back from his right ACL tear just to tear his left ACL yesterday. So he's out for the season. So that's another hit to the Lions. So they're already without. They're down him. I think Gardner Johnson's out too. And
yep. And Brian Branch was banged up a little bit in the game before. I don't remember if he played in this game or not. But yeah, their secondary is kind of a revamped secondary as it was anyways. Is losing some of those members. Moving on from this game, we're talking about the AFC South as we got the Tennessee Titans going into Indianapolis and falling 23-16. Ryan Tannehill, 23 of 34, 264 yards and a touchdown and an interception. Tajay Spears had the lone rushing touchdown for the Tennessee Titans as they were really pretty inefficient running the football, 3.3 yards per carry for Derrick Henry. And DeAndre Hopkins had his best game as a member of the Titans, not that that's saying very much at all, but 8 catches out of 144 yards. He had 11 targets in this game. He was obviously a focal point of this offense. To the Colts side of this, 6 incompletions in between Gardner Minshew and Anthony Richardson. Sadly, Anthony Richardson went down in this game with an AC joint injury in that throwing shoulder. He's going to miss some time. It is possible he ends up on the IR, but it's lucky you have a capable backup in Gardner Minshew. 11 of 14 for 155 yards. Anthony Richardson, 9 for 12. Zach Moss, came in this game was like, oh, Jonathan Taylor's back now. I'm still running back one. He's going to try to hold on to that mantle as long as he can. 23 carries for 165 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jonathan Taylor, fresh stuff coming off that fresh new contract for him. Congratulations to him as well. 6 carries for 18 yards. Joshua Downs, leading receiver for the Indianapolis Colts, 6 of 97, as the defense for the Colts really stepped up in a big way in this game.
Yeah, they really did. And again, this was a game that the Titans let slip from their hands because there was a really questionable play call in the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 1. Why would you call the play bouncing Derrick Henry outside? That's a grown-ass man. Run his big ass in the trenches, okay? And they didn't do it. The Colts were ready for it. They set the edge, and the Colts were just a better team. I like what I'm seeing from Indianapolis. They're playing hard for Shane Steichen. Anthony Richardson, you got to protect yourself, young man, because boy, you keep playing like this, it's only gonna get worse. Protect yourself. Stop playing with reckless abandon. Let's look at where it's got you.
But yeah, this is the 3rd game of 5 that you have not finished as the starter. I've been said it too many times already. You are not the only dude that's 6'4", 245 on that field. Everybody else,
you're just one of several.
you're one of several. You are one of many. You are no longer.
He might be one of 22. So.
Dead ass, like bro, like the days of you being the big dude the biggest dude on the football field at Florida. This is not Florida. This is not that. You can't do that. You can't keep playing like you're playing. Christian said it. You're gonna end up on IR and you're gonna be out of the league. Right, it's gonna be Andrew Luck 2.0, and not because of them not protecting you, it's because you not protecting yourself. Like, knock it off. And yeah, Tennessee, obviously, like what you call it, DeAndre Hopkins was turned into the focal point because if I'm the coach, yeah, I don't care if Ryan Tannehill throws for 264 and DeAndre Hopkins does what he did. Derrick Henry's not beating me. He done did it too many times in the past. I don't care. So I'm selling out, stopping him. If I lose a game to Ryan Tannehill and he has the game of his life, again, I'll walk to the middle of the field, shake his hand, GG's, see you down the road. Like, that's where we're at with this point. I don't need to see more Ryan Tannehill. I know what he is. Give me Malik Willis. Add another element because that play with Derrick Henry bouncing to the outside. You know what they not ready for? A read option where Malik Willis keeps it and he bounces it to the outside because they're so set on stopping Derrick Henry. I don't need to see Ryan Tannehill anymore. Get him out of here. It was nice.
Get Will Levis, one of those guys.
Like Ryan Tannehill. It was a nice run. You revamped your career. You were cast off in Miami, you go to Tennessee, you had a hell of a run. AFC Championship. You had a hell of a run. It's over. Tennessee needs that shot in the arm, and it has to come from one of them other 2 younger quarterbacks. You might as well see what you got in.
I agree with that take 100%. Moving on from this game, we're going to talk about the battle between the NFC East and the AFC East as we have the New York Giants going down to South Beach and getting beat down by the Miami Dolphins 31-16. I am sorry, Christian. Dan Jones, another really not impressive game here for a $40 million man. 14 of 20, 119 yards. He also got hurt. Tyrod Taylor came in, 9 of 12 for 86. Leading rusher for this team was Eric Gray, 12 carries for 25 yards. That's a 2.1 yards per carry. The Wall, Darren Waller, I don't know if I can still use that nickname, 8 catches for 86 yards, no touchdowns for the New York Giants on offense. They did have a really nice pick 6 at the goal line that they took back to the house. The one highlight from the Giants that they can still hang their hat on. On the Miami side of this offense continues to cook. Tua Tagovailoa, 22 of 30, 2 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. Devon Achane continues to be incredible. 11 carries for 151 yards and a touchdown. Raheem Mostert also got in on the party. He had a rushing touchdown. And Tyreek Hill, another massive game as the Miami Dolphins receiver, 8 for 120, 81. He had that 69-yard bomb where I just don't understand why teams continue to single cover him. You got to have a safety over the top. I just don't get it. It's probably a lot to do with the fact that they ran for 222 yards in this game, and Jalen Waddle also punched in one through the air as well.
Yeah, you know what's funny? And TJ is gonna know what I'm talking about. I saw somebody post on Facebook that Devin Achane is just he's playing at an unbelievable level, and right now I think it's between him and CJ Stroud as the two favorites to win Offensive Rookie of the Year. I mean, Devin Achane adds a different element to the Miami offense, and then someone tried to. Oh, well, what about Bijan? This and that, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, look.
Dude, the guy's got 5 touchdowns in 2 weeks.
Who? Devin, right?
Right?
Yeah. But people like to talk to me like,
I mean, he's a Falcons fan. I get rooting for your guy, but at the same time, come on, bro. Stats speak for themselves. I don't even think Bijan has a rushing touchdown on the season.
He doesn't.
Yeah, he does. Pretty sure he does.
Because he doesn't. I just checked. No.
He's got 2 receiving touchdowns. I'm pretty sure he's got 1.
Christian just said he just checked.
He
doesn't.
Okay.
Yeah, and as for the Giants, this is like the football team right now. Remember what I said to you, David? They snuck up on a lot of people last year, and they can't beat upper echelon opponents. This is a good get back on track victory for Miami, and I can't wait to see what they do moving forward.
Excuse me. Yeah. Again, it just goes back into the contract conversations. You tag the guy that makes your offense go and pay the dependent $40 million. Not a good look. When the guy,
I think the argument can be made. The reason that you didn't want to pay Saquon Barkley is exactly why because he's not on the football field enough.
But also look at.
It's a catch-22. I mean, the guy is your entire offense, but
I know, but
he's not available enough.
The guys,
which is why they don't want to. Which is why they don't want to pay him.
But the guy's your entire offense. I don't care.
Nah, I'm with David on this one because last year was Saquon's second full season starting, all 17 games since his rookie season. Like, you have to be reliable and you have to be available. I don't blame the Giants for not paying him.
Well, we know who ain't reliable. The guy they gave $40 million to. Anyway, Christian, like, shit, you can say that. They ain't asked me to pay him. Shit. Yeah. I want that kind of, you can say, like, I was just saying, like you was like, they ain't asked you to pay. Like, they ain't asked you. I wouldn't have gave it to him.
Look,
I knew you wouldn't have gave it to him.
Look, I'll say this. I live 10 minutes away from MetLife, so if they need me to suit up and throw a couple passes, I'll do it.
Moving on from this. Go ahead,
before we switch, that pick 6 that you mentioned, David, that was the first
touchdown in the first half. Yeah, no, for the entire season.
And
this season, like, it's 5 weeks.
And it's just like man, I understand like it was the Dolphins, but at the same time, it's like now you got folks questioning Brian Daboll and all this other stuff. Like, yo, Brian Daboll was loved, like it was all love last season, right? Like now it's I don't know about it. Like, nah, bro, you know about Brian Daboll. It's Daniel Jones. It's the rest of them. Evan Neal literally. Yeah, it's just a spot. Evan Neal literally had somebody run right past him. I don't know how you didn't see him. When Evan Neal wants to know why New York fans are booing him, bro, look at your own tape.
From that blowout to Bill Belichick's new worst game of his career, he went exactly 1 week before he topped what was an abysmal performance last week, getting beat down 34-0 by the New Orleans Saints, an offense that really hasn't done much this year. You let them score 34 on you. Derek Carr, 18 of 26, 183 yards and 2 touchdowns. Alvin Kamara had a touchdown on the ground. Chris Olave and Foster Moreau both had touchdowns. Also, shout out to Foster Moreau. I think he had a cancer diagnosis sometime this offseason. The fact that he's back on the football field is really good news. Love to see it. And he got into the end zone in this game. On the New England side of this, yeah, they got some problems, big-time problems when it comes to this roster. Mac Jones inept again this week. 12 of 22, 110 yards and 2 touchdowns. Bailey Zappi came in as well. Wasn't much better. 3 of 9 for 22. They ran the ball for 45 yards, 2.5 yards a carry. They threw the ball for 132 yards as a team. None of their wide receivers are even worth mentioning when we talk about their stats. Just abysmal all around.
Yeah, just really abysmal all around. Probably hands down the best performance by the Saints all year long. They were dominant on defense. The offense came to play. New England does have issues. You're absolutely right. You can blame Mac Jones all you want, but what position have they put him in?
Ooh, preach, black man, preach.
I'm just saying. Thank you, brother. I'm just saying. Like, what? Think about it, TJ. I'm about to echo sentiments that I say to you all the time, right? If you want your quarterback to be successful, put him in a position to be successful. Like, think about it. Every quarterback in the league has that go-to guy. Josh Allen has Stephon Diggs. And he also has Dawson Knox, right? Mm-hmm. Joe Burrow, he has 3 receivers and a pretty good tight end to get the ball to. Mahomes has Kelsey. Who's Mac Jones' go-to guy?
That guy does not exist.
My point exactly. Yeah, don't get me wrong. Is Max struggling? Yes, but you got to put pieces around your quarterback.
So one of the NBA NFL YouTubers that I watch a lot, this guy That Good Sports, he talked about so when you had a Hall of Fame quarterback, you could afford to not
get away with a lot.
You can get away with a lot. You can afford to not take a wide receiver in any of the premium rounds. You can afford to not reach for players that don't really pan out. Like when you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, it covers for a lot of the bad stuff you've done. Like we look through their history, like their wide receivers that they've drafted, none of them have really panned out. They basically have taken shots in the dark on guys that are free agents that were just kind of fringe number one, like wide receivers in the league anyways. And none of those guys haven't panned out either. The Bill Belichick way is just not continually working right now. And I think they're going to take a long, hard look at you're either going to just be the GM or you're going to just be the head coach, because you being both is just not working for us.
I've said that for God, how long, David?
Yeah.
Since Tom Brady left, right? Like I've said that for years now. Like it's real easy to, be like make the strange pick in the draft, like draft a Cole Strange in the second round, draft the kid
first round.
My bad. Draft the Cole Strange in the first round, draft the kid out of Lenore Ryan in the second round, and be like, "Oh, it's cool. I have Tom Brady. You don't, so it's not a word." It's real easy to brush all that stuff under the rug when you win in 12 to 14 games a year, and you're a write-in for at least the AFC champion, the divisional year in and year out, because you're gonna win your division for 20 years. Right, it's real easy to do that. Everyone talked about the position that the Bears put Justin Fields in. Not enough is being talked about the position that Mac Jones is put in. They set Mac Jones back an entire year. When you give him when you give him 2 non-offensive coordinators as offensive coordinators and tell him to go out and play, and then you wonder why his stuff is messed up. That's why you had 2 guys who never called offensive plays before in their lives calling plays.
But Bill O'Brien hasn't been. We thought he'd be better in this scenario. He hasn't been any better whatsoever.
No. Look at the mess Bill O'Brien has to clean up. That's my point.
And also, you got to look at the difference between the first time he was the Patriots offensive coordinator, and this time around, there was one big caveat: Tom Brady.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a Hall of Fame GOAT type quarterback. He covers up for a lot of the blemishes on your roster. So yeah, when you
And
don't
I
have Tom
think-
Brady, when you don't have a GOAT level quarterback,
and
yeah,
I think
when your
that-
roster is this bad, it's gonna look like this.
I think what the Dolphins, what the Patriots need to do is what Atlanta did this game. Hey, make Gesicki priority number one. Again, the tight end's your best, like he's your best friend. Out of all the Patriots wide receivers, whatever, he's the only one I would have faith in to show up consistently.
Yeah, him and Hunter Henry. Moving on from this game, we can talk about
Play
the
through your
Patriots blue in the face.
Play through your tight ends.
Moving on from this game, we got the battle in the AFC North as the Baltimore Ravens fall to the Pittsburgh Steelers 17-10 as Pittsburgh scored 14 points in the fourth quarter to basically steal this game from Pittsburgh, from Baltimore. Lamar Jackson, 22 of 38, 236 yards and an interception, 12 of 48 for Gus Edwards on the ground. Zay Flowers, 5 catches for 73 yards. On the Pittsburgh side of this, 18 of 32 for Kenny Pickett, 224 yards, including that game-winning touchdown to George Pickens, 441 yards. That was basically the end of the game. Jalen Warren, 9 catches, 4 rushes for 40 yards. As Najee Harris, one of his most inefficient games of his career, 14 of 37 for 2.6 yards per carry. But the thing is, like, the Ravens had an opportunity to go down the field and win this football game, or at least tie it up in the fourth quarter. They basically were 4 out in that situation. Lamar Jackson unable to make the plays to basically continue this game. Just thoughts.
I said it on Monday evening, quarterback. That episode is out right now. By the way, go check that out on Daily.
It's a shameless plug, baby.
You know, Lamar was a part of the problem yesterday because he threw that interception. I was talking to TJ during that game, and I said, look, TJ, I'm going to ask you again on air, right? Name a time when you seen Odell Beckham ever lined up as a possession receiver in the red zone.
Been a while.
Yeah, you barely saw it because he was more of a slasher in his prime. He really attacked the middle of the field, and then he got up the field. And that was just a horrible pass that Lamar threw. But another reason why the Ravens lost this game, their secondary can't cover. This is going to be a problem for them moving forward. I mean, George Pickens was in a one-on-one situation with Marlon Humphrey, who can be barbecue Raven at times. But it also didn't help that, Lamar is throwing perfect passes and the ball is just hitting those receivers right in the hands. I think 8 passes were dropped yesterday for Baltimore. So Baltimore really found a way to beat themselves in this game. But this is a huge win for the Steelers. The Ravens really had the perfect opportunity to catapult themselves into the driver's seat further in the AFC North. Now the Steelers are in first place.
Yeah, it's real easy to blame Lamar for this one, right? The fumble, and he had a couple more miscues. He got sacked. He took sacks when he probably shouldn't have. But I saw Nelson Aguilar drop a deep ball where he would have walked into the end zone. I saw Zay Flowers drop a touchdown. I think they had 7 drops.
I think Christian just said they had 8.
They had 8.
Was it 8? Oh, it was 8. Okay, they had 8 drops as a unit, and yeah, blame Lamar for that. But if you blame Lamar for that, then you stat what you call it? You what they're called a box score reader. That's what you are. Like, you didn't really watch the game. If you put this loss on Lamar Jackson. Also, I don't think it was a good call defensively to leave Marlon Humphrey, who, by the way, is coming off of foot surgery, one-on-one with their best receiver. And you saw what happened.
Yeah, you got cooked too. Moving on from this game, we're going to talk a little bit about the NFC as we get the Philadelphia Eagles going into SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles and beating the Rams 23-14. Jalen Hurts, 25 of 38, 300 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. He was also the team's leading rusher. Big 3 Darren pickups with his feet, 15 of 72 in that push touchdown. A.J. Brown continues to be a problem. 6 catches for 127 yards. And Dallas Goedert, first touchdown of his season so far. He also goes over the century mark for the first time this year. Matthew Stafford, He played okay in this game, 21 of 37, 222 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kyron Williams, a nice story as a rookie there, 13 of 53. Cooper Kupp in his return goes over the century mark, and Puka Nacua caught one of the receiving touchdowns along with Tutu Atwell as the Eagles just basically dominated this game, 23-14. Actually, this game was much closer, but Philly put up 6 towards the end with Jake Elliott.
Yeah, look, Philly's 5-0 for the second straight year, but they're not dominating teams in the same fashion that they were around this time last season, because when you played the Eagles last year, the game was over by the third quarter going into the fourth, but that hasn't been the case, and I think that has to do with there's more tape now on Jalen Hurts, and but the defending conference champs, so they're gonna get everybody's best shot. The Rams played them tough, but Philly just made more plays when it mattered most.
Also, shout out to Jalen Carter, 2 sacks in this game. He has had a really solid rookie campaign.
Yeah, I told people don't sleep on this kid. I loved him at Georgia. Yeah, he's the real deal.
TJ.
Yeah, the Rams pretty much said, the Eagles pretty much said, yeah, you're not running on us today. Well, they said to a lot of teams, but as 37 pass attempts, 14 rush attempts. Cooper Kupp just came back and said, hey, y'all must have forgot who I was, because let me remind y'all real quick. 8 for 118. It's like, hey, whoever was on him was barbecue chicken. I like the dynamic I like the duo. Unsurprisingly, Cooper Kupp and Puka Nacua. Who would have thought? Who would have had that on a bingo card as, duo, like wide receiver duos in the league to be on the lookout for. And a lot of that is Puka Nacua having the start that he's having. Like you said, Stafford didn't play too bad. 21-37, 222, 2 touchdowns. He got sacked 4 times, but again, that's the Eagles front. Like they're gonna do that to a lot of teams. And on the flip side, Christian, like he said it, the Eagles are just finding new ways to win because they're not dominating teams anymore. They won this game by 8?
Yeah, I mean they were up by was it 3 points going into the second half, going into the fourth quarter. I mean they kicked 2 field goals in the second half, and that's how they were able to win the game.
Yeah, their most dominating game was against Tampa, 25-11. Patriots 25-20. Eagles, Vikings, they won that by a touchdown. They lost. Commanders took them to overtime. They won that by a field goal, and then you got yesterday. So, and then now you got another tough defense next week with the Jets, and we'll get to that tomorrow. But yeah, that's what you do. That's what good teams do. They find new ways to win.
Moving on from this game, we got to go to the big toaster there in Arizona, where the Cincinnati Bengals finally got this offense going a little bit. 34 points over the Arizona Cardinals, 20. Joe Burrow, finally his best game so far this season, looked more healthy this week than he has in any other week so far this year. 36 of 46, 317 yards, 3 touchdowns, and a pick. Joe Mixon, 25 carries for 81 yards. And somebody might want to give a memo to the Arizona Cardinals about checking Jamar Chase, because I guess he's talked about being always open. He might be always open. 15 catches, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns in this game. On the other side, Joshua Dobbs continues to be just a kind of a nice story so far this year. 15 of 32, 166, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks. Rondale Moore, leading rusher for this team, 30 for 50. James Conner only had 6 touches in this game. I think he may have gotten hurt. And Mario DiMarticato had the lone rushing touchdown for this team. And Marquise Brown, who's had actually a pretty solid campaign for the Cardinals, had a touchdown, and also did Zach Ertz coming off that ACL tear.
I still would like a more balanced attack from the Bengals. 46 pass attempts to 30 rush attempts combined. Don't get me wrong. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. If they're gonna let Jamar Chase have the game of his life, 15 for 192 and 3 touchdowns, you let Jamar Chase have the game of his life. Like, you keep going to the well, till that well runs dry. And yeah, I don't blame you. 15, first off, let's talk about 15 catches on 19 targets. That literally means he was out like, hey, he was wide open, and they could do nothing about it. They sacked him 3 times. I hate to be the dead horse, but you said Joe Burrow looked healthy. I get it. Him and Jamar Chase, the dynamic they have is beautiful. I still would have went Panay Sewell because that's just me. Like I still would have went Panay Sewell in that draft, and they're kind of not kicking themselves for it yet. But here's the thing: you limp into the season, you're gonna limp out. Joe Burrow is never going to be 100%. He may look better than what he did, but he's never going to be 100%. Especially with the injury, the kind of injury that he has.
Yeah, soft tissue injury, that calf injury. Christian.
Yeah, you're right, David and TJ. First, let me start with David's point. Burrow was moving around in the pocket. You didn't really see that the first couple of games, moving in, spreading the ball around. So you're absolutely right on that aspect. TJ, I'm with you 100%. They do need more balance as an offense. Because throwing it 46 times a game, that's not going to win. That's kind of the recipe for an L. But luckily, they were playing Arizona, and Arizona's played a hell of a lot better than I think a lot of people anticipated them to. Everybody thought they were just going to lay down. But this was a great win for the Bengals. That's the Bengals offense I've been waiting to see all year.
Moving on from this game, we got a little bit of the revenge bowl for Nathaniel Hackett as the New York Jets beat the Denver Broncos by 10, 31-21 in Mile High. Zach Wilson, not as good as he was a week ago, but still good enough to get the W here. 19 of 26, 199 yards and that one interception. Breece Hall had himself a game, 22 carries for 177 yards and a touchdown. Good to see him finally healthy again. Tyler Conklin, lead receiver for the New York Jets, 4 for 67. And then Russell Wilson on the other side of this, 20 of 31, 196 yards and 2 touchdowns. Jalen McLaughlin, 9 carries for 68 yards. And Adam Troutman and Jalen McLaughlin caught the receiving touchdowns for this team, as Russell Wilson also had 2 fumbles. One of them was returned to the house for basically a game-sealing fumble recovery, scoop and score.
I think, first off, the Broncos found something in Jaleel McLaughlin.
Averaged 7.6 yards a carry in this game. Also had 3 catches for 21 yards and that touchdown.
If you watch his story, he's one of those preseason training camp dudes that's like he worked his ass off to make the roster, and now he's
undrafted out of Youngstown State.
Like preseason training camp dude, like he worked his ass off to get to where he's at, and he is damn sure making hey, y'all made the right decision by keeping me on the 53-man roster. Russell Wilson, bruh. Is this it? Is this it? Like, I'm asking, like, I'm not being funny, I'm not trying to troll. Is this it? Like I'm asking y'all, like, is this it? Like, what?
Well, I mean,
at what point
we discussed this on several shows. The way Russell Wilson's contract is structured, they could move off of him this offseason and not have to. There'll sure be some dead cap money, but it wouldn't be crippling dead cap money. They could move off of him this offseason if they wanted to. And yes, I think it could be close to the end.
Christian, it has to be, right? Like that's just me.
Honestly, I'm happy for the Jets because TJ, I'm about to go to prime route. The Jets did what? They took it what?
They made it personal.
And they really wanted that win for Hackett. That was a game they had to grind out. And David, what did I tell you when we were doing our picks for this game last week? This is going to be a what? A Breece Hall game. And look at what happened.
22 for 177.
Yep. it's no restriction on him, too. He can go out on Fifth Avenue and stanky leg.
Boom. That's that word. Okay. Speaking of, that's that word. There's that word again. Restriction. Speaking of no restrictions, it finally looks like they took the training wheels off of Zach Wilson, and it's almost like Hackett and Saleh pulled him in and said, "Hey, don't worry about the mistakes. You're gonna make mistakes. This is a game where you rarely play mistake free. You're gonna make them. Just get out of your own head. We have faith in you. Just go out there and play football. Play the game that you know how to play." And
Yeah, look, the last 2 weeks he's looked much freer on offense.
He's looked way better. And like, how coincidental that two of the guys that they talk about as the worst quarterbacks in the league, in Justin Fields and Zach Wilson, 2 weeks in back-to-back games from both of them, it's almost like, yo, who are these dudes? These are not the dudes we're used to seeing. And that's why I'm very interested and I'm very intrigued. And Christian, I'm gonna do a shameless plug for you. That Jets-Eagles game, keep an eye out for that. I'm so serious.
You know what, TJ? I'm glad you said that because I might look into tickets for that one.
Ooh,
and
all
I would take y'all if y'all were here. I really would. You know what I'm saying? I really would, man. Yeah, we got to do that. We got to have like a prime outing.
Yeah, I like that idea. Moving on to the final game of the late afternoon window, we got the Kansas City Chiefs going into Minnesota and taking the victory 27-20. Real quick, that call that picked up pass interference call on Kansas City, I actually agree with that decision. I did not think that was PI. I did not think that pass was catchable. Back to the stats. Patrick Mahomes, 31-41, 281, 2 touchdowns. Isaiah Pacheco continues kind of his nice story on his second season. 1 touchdown there on the ground. Travis Kelce and Rashee Rice had the receiving touchdowns for the Kansas City Chiefs. Minnesota can seemingly not get out of their own way. They had a really nice catch by Joshua Oliver in their first drive of the game. He ends up fumbling the ball. Hate to see it, but it's just that every week Minnesota seems to have some sort of snafu at the beginning of every one of their games where they have to dig themselves out of holes. Kirk Cousins, 29-47, 2 touchdowns. Alexander Mattison, 8 carries for 26. Jordan Addison and Mattison caught the receiving touchdowns. Also, Justin Jefferson injured a hamstring in this game late in the fourth quarter, did not return.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for injury anyway. But hey, Justin, if you want to just take a week off to heal that hamstring, just if you want to help a brother out and do that solid for a Bears fan, that would be great. Just take just take next week off. You don't need to rush that. No, honestly, please, like, don't rush that. Like, that is the last thing you need is a torn hammy, bro. Like, you won't be the same for 2 years. It was. David, you said it. Like, first play, tight end screen, and he is like, that guy's moving. I'm like, oh, I don't know who you are, but you are.
Gained 16 yards on that play. Former Baltimore Raven Josh Oliver.
I'm like, you are moving, and then fumble. It's like, God damn it. And then you gave the one guy in this league that you don't want to give a short field to, and you gave it to him. Like,
my homeboy.
Yeah. It's like, God damn it.
My homeboy. TJ, listen to how calm I just said that man's name. My homeboy.
My homeboy. And, like, man, it's just 202 and 53. That's 202 passing touchdowns to 53 interceptions. That's what Pat Mahomes is at right now. Like, right now.
Fastest player by far to get to over 200 touchdowns.
Travis Kelce he got banged up.
That shouldn't be a surprise. He threw 50 his first season when he started.
I know.
Okay, but Christian, here's the thing. Like, when you do something like that, right? The expectations are now exponentially increased, right? And
absolutely.
Like when you throw 50, it's almost like, you gotta throw at least 50 the next season, and you better do that shit again. And
you know what? This might sound crazy coming from you guys, but I actually think he was better his second MVP than he was his first MVP. I just thought he was more efficient as a passer when he won his second MVP last year. I mean,
well, he certainly had less interceptions last season than he did this season. He won his first MVP.
Yeah, because he had 12 interceptions when he won his first MVP, and then I think he only had 7 or 8 last year.
Yeah.
So yeah, but I just thought he was more efficient with the football. But as far as this game goes, Kansas City might be the best team in the AFC by default. However, like I said, the two things. I said it last week. I'm going to keep saying it. They need another consistent pass catcher outside of Travis Kelce. I would have been on the phone with the Bears trying to get Chase Claypool. But by all means,
that was a rumor.
I kind of like the fact that Justin Ross is a guy that we talked about. I think on another show at some point. Like he played well in this game. I know he only had 2 catches, but it was 2 big catches.
Never mind. They have their guy. Because I loved him at Clemson. 6 foot boy.
And Justin Watson too also seems to be that big play guy.
Yeah. So I think they have him. I just think it's more of a let's get these guys incorporated a little bit more type of thing. And I still don't trust this Kansas City defense outside of Chris Jones and Nick Bolton.
And Nick Bolton was hurt. It's like we said with the Eagles, but they're more in tune with it. The Chiefs used to, like we said, blow people out. Like third quarter, game over because Tyreek Hill got deep once or twice and just gave you just demoralized your defense with that, or he demoralized them a different way. Taking the screen play 60, 70 yards to the house, and it's just death by 1,000 cuts with Travis Kelce. Now it's death by 2,000 cuts because it's Travis Kelce. And like you said, who is it going to be this week? Is it going to be Justin Ross? Is it going to be Isaiah Pacheco, who I think should have gotten more burn in the run game? I don't like they had 21 carries as a team. He had 16 of them. Get him the ball more. He runs angry, and I love that. It's the same thing. They just find new ways to beat you. They won, like I said, they won this game by 7. They beat the Chiefs by 3. They got help that game with the Jets. They got a lot of help because that PI call was not PI.
It was a hold.
Whatever. You don't throw the flag until you don't let the guy intercept the ball then throw the flag.
Stop.
Come on. Obviously, to me, their most dominating game was obviously against the Bears, but that's not saying much. If you don't take much into that game, then their most dominant game, obviously by far, has to be that Jacksonville game because Jacksonville could get nothing going in that game. But they have a game against Denver next week, and
a scrimmage.
Oh, damn.
Speaking of a scrimmage, to the final game, Sunday Night Football, and the shellacking in San Francisco, as San Francisco hung up 42 points on the Dallas Cowboys to their 10. Dak Prescott, probably one of his worst games as a pro, 14 of 24, 153 yards, 1 touchdown, and 3 interceptions. They could never get the running game going. 8 carries for 29 yards. CeeDee Lamb in this passing attack also couldn't get out on right. 4 for 49. Kayvon Turpin, I think his first receiving touchdown of his career. Cavante, sorry. He also got injured on that play and did not return in this game. So hopefully he's going to be all right. And then Brock Purdy continues to be just this fantastic story, right? 17 and 24, 252 yards, 4 touchdowns. He is very much in the MVP conversation. Jordan Madison, 10 carries, 69 yards, and his first NFL touchdown. Shout out to him. Chris McCaffrey continues his streak, 14 games in a row with at least 1 touchdown in every single game. He had 51 yards. George Kittle, 3 touchdowns in this game. Also, Kyle Juszczyk caught another touchdown as they just literally wiped the floor with the Dallas Cowboys, basically from the beginning to the end. San Francisco scored on their opening drive, and they never stopped scoring until the game was over.
15 games now.
15, my bad.
No, it's cool. I get it. So I think the question being asked is, are the Niners that good, or are the Cowboys just overhyped as usual?
I think San Francisco's this good. Like,
Christian?
Nah, I think San Francisco is the best team in the National Football League right now. This team
So-
has no type of weakness. They're physical up front on both sides of the trenches, offensive line and defensive line. Their defense is suffocating, but it's offensively that really stands out to me because they have so many different guys that could beat you. And can we stop with the Brock Purdy hate, please? Because all this kid has come is done. All this kid has done is come in, and in the words of T-Pain, all he's done is win, 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 no matter what.
the only game that he's lost as a starter is the game that he did not finish.
It's a game he didn't finish, right? But
So,
you know what's
okay.
crazy? But you guys, you know what's crazy? Christian McCaffrey didn't go off like that.
Yeah.
But San Francisco was still consistent in running the football. And what have I been saying about Dallas all year? What version of their offense are you gonna get? We know what we're gonna get from their defense. Well, yesterday, you know, I think they were at the beach a little too much. You know, they was beach hungover. That's all we gonna say. That's all we gonna say. But it's always what version of Dak Prescott is gonna show up. You get good Dak, you win. Or as TJ likes to say, TJ, we might need to start calling. You know what I'm talking about. This is when I first started. Mr. Give You One. He'll give you one.
Oh, is he the new? Is
Philip Rivers?
Yeah, he the new. He gonna give you one? Is it him? Is
Yeah.
it that? Hey man, he gonna give you one.
And no Philip Rivers slander, David.
I love Philip Rivers. He's got a whole offense of kids.
Hey,
You ain't wrong.
again, Chris, you was late. You was late to the club. I've been disrespecting Philip Rivers for God knows how long.
That's true. But yeah, like this is just like I think it's more about the fact that Dallas, the San Francisco 49ers are the most complete team in the NFL. Like Dallas, they were just beat down by a far superior team from beginning to end, goal post to sideline.
And a little bit at halftime too. Here's the thing. So to address the Brock Purdy hate, and I'm putting hate in quotation marks. I gotta take the quotation. It's hate because here's the thing, right? A lot of folks out there outside of 49ers nation, they feel like Brock Purdy is a product of his environment. It would be hard to look bad with George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Deebo Samuel, and Christian McCaffrey as your targets, with an Hall of Fame left tackle and all pros across the board blocking for you, right? It would be like you would have to try your hardest to be bad with that crop, with Kyle Shanahan calling plays. You would have to try your hardest to look bad with that defense on the other side giving you takeaways and short fields to work with, right? So those who say Brock Purdy is, that a product of his environment feel like if Sam Darnold was the starter, the Niners would still be 5-0.
Yeah, because they wouldn't ask him.
I mean, maybe, but I mean, you still have to make like he's not like digging and dunking. He's not like being a game manager. I mean, he averaged 10.5 yards a pass attempt in this game. Like he's taking shots down the field. Like Brock Purdy he's for real.
What was his longest play? What was his longest pass?
38 yards.
38
42.
yards.
42. Sorry, 42. To Deebo Samuel.
Was that and that was a legit shot down? It wasn't like a slam play.
I don't know. But I know for sure he had 38 yards to George Kittle.
So, and that was off a trick play, which the Lions and the Niners ran the same trick play, and it was both, and it resulted in the same thing: touchdown to the tight end.
Yeah.
But on the flip side of that, to your point, like David, yeah, Brock Purdy is a product of his environment, but he's also making the plays. He's making.
I mean, why does it have to be a bad thing that is a product of the environment? Like, why does that seem like it has a negative connotation?
Because for so long, like the adage of the quarterback, the one thing that makes the quarterback great, and it's really our fault because we were spoiled for so long, watching Tom Brady pull a team that was not talented over the hump, watching Peyton Manning pull teams outside of the Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne years over the hump. We make fun of them. Watching the Phillip Rivers take a team over the hump, watching Big Ben do it and Joe Flacco do it, like we were spoiled. Like the amount of Hall of Fame quarterback play we've seen in our lifetimes has spoiled us to the point. And Drew Brees, like watching those dudes do it week in and week out for 20 plus years, we're spoiled. Like we don't know what to do with the fact that a team like the San Francisco 49ers exists, a team like the Eagles exists, and their quarterbacks are just like, hey, I don't have to be great. I don't have to be spectacular. I can throw for 250 yards and we'll win and we'll be great. Dallas, on the other hand, like I love the mentality. Again, you're supposed to have this mentality. You're supposed to go into the game against the 49ers and say, hey, y'all put y'all pads on just like we do. We can kick y'all ass too. But it's one thing to say it and have that mentality. It's another thing to actually go out there and kick their ass. Like, I love Michael Parsons. Mike Parsons is a bad boy. But Michael Parsons is one dude. I can neutralize him real easy. Hey, Trent, you got Micah. You got 11. Very
also, real quick before we wrap up the show here, shout out to Leighton Vander Esch. Hopefully he's doing okay. Had a neck injury during the latter stages of this game. Went into the locker room. I think he may have actually gone to the hospital as well. So hopefully he's doing okay today. I have not seen an update on that situation. Hopefully, because he's had those injuries for a majority of his career. So hopefully he's doing okay today. But yeah, this was like just a straight up beat down by San Francisco. Nothing else needs really to be said.
Like the real question is so if you're Dallas, you're in the crucial stretch of your schedule to me, right? So you had San Fran yesterday, you got the Chargers next week, and you got a Rams team that if you overlook them, they'll beat you. They will beat you. And you got the Eagles the week after that. So you're already 0-1 in this 4-game stretch. This 4-game stretch could literally make or break your season.
Yep, without doubt. And we'll get more into that tomorrow when we do our preview and prediction show. As Monday Night Football is getting ready to kick off here. But yeah, thank you very much for checking us out here at Prime Sports World. Please like, share, and subscribe to the podcast. On today's show, we broke down Week 5 of the National Football League so far. And thank you very much for checking us out. David Huffman, TJ Hawkinson from the Daily Blitz.blog, our good friend and brother, Christian Simpson. Gentlemen, what do we do here at the Prime Friends?
We be disrespectful.
We bring the heat, babies, and we'll be back here tomorrow, probably around 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, breaking down Monday Night Football for you guys and breaking down week number 6. So you guys all have a good night. Stay safe. Enjoy the game tonight.